Hey, what's up guys, it's Daemons here. In this video we will review the basic fundamental knowledge about the game that can't be seen in the game itself, or if it can, it is almost imperceptible. The video is more suitable for beginners, but it is also appropriate for regular players. For example, I myself didn't know some of what I am about to tell you. In the video itself, there will be no hints on how to play, but there will be information that will help you decide whether to accept the fight or not. Also, we will try to reflect on the available armies and divide them according to certain principles. Maybe the video should have been filmed early or started with that, but I believe, as they say, that it is never too late. So, let's get started. There are 4 types of objects in this game: infantry, vehicles, buildings, and demons. In turn, each of these objects is divided into the following types that you see on the screen. So, let's go through each of them and draw some conclusions. Low infantry, as we can see, almost all the workers, except the Imperial Guard worker, who has the commander armor type, which is why he is so difficult to penetrate. We also see the Uniskull prop in this list. In general, this type of armor is easily penetrated, though not by everyone. It is light infantry, so they have no major issue with movement speed. Mad infantry is mainly composed of Kapir scouts, but again we are missing the Orc Slaga boys, whose armor type is high infantry. Also present here are heavy weapon team and pathfinders. Overall, this is a very weak armor, possibly even the weakest of all, because when looking at the all units in this game, you get the impression that this type of armor is attacked the hardest by everyone. It is also considered light, which gives the units with this armor an advantage in movement speed. One could say that the backbone of the Imperial Guard is made up of these units with this armor. Though there are also many commanders, so it's not all that bleak for this army. High infantry consists full-fledged combat squads. The fastest units in the game have this type of armor. In terms of protection, the armor is slightly better than mad infantry, but still not better than low infantry. We see that the primary bearers of this armor are the Eldar. The army of ordinary Eldar is mainly an army of high infantry. Heavy medium infantry is the foundation for the following armies: Necrons, Space Marines, Chaos, Tau, and Orcs. They have a slight reduction in mobility compared to the light types, but they have also compensatory mechanisms such as teleports and jumps. They provide noticeably better protection than the light types. Here we see many drop troops and raptors. Overall, it is very decent armor. Heavy high infantry ranks second in protection among all infantry while significantly reducing the natural speed of the units. As we can see, most units with this armor emerge in the late game. The Sister of the Battle can easily form an army with Celestian Squad and fill their entire unit limit with them. For others, there are maximum unit limits, or it isn't practical to fill the entire limit. And finally, the last type of infantry armor is commanders. Most of them are faction heroes, but there are also interesting exceptions, such as the Imperial Guard worker or the Necron Lord Destroyer, which, despite occupying vehicle limits, has dimension armor. So, now you know that it is best not to attack it with anti-vehicles units. It is also the best infantry armor in terms of protection, while not significantly reducing speed. Now, let's move on to the vehicles. The first type, low vehicles. As we can see, the weakest in terms of hit points and also occupies the smallest limit. However, that doesn't mean it isn't useful. Like almost all equipment in the game, it is quite fast. Not all armies have examples of such vehicles, and overall, that is all we can say about it. Med vehicles are the most common vehicles in the game. Fast, armored, large in hitboxes, and the foundation of any army. They can be divided into the following types: artillery, tanks, troops transportations, melee vehicles, and anti-vehicles. They can also combine several of the aforementioned properties. The only one missing here is Kilakan. For some damn reason, the developers gave him the high vehicle type. And traditionally, the best armored but the slowest are, of course, high vehicles. As we can see, these are mostly relic tier 4 vehicles, except for Kilakan. For this type of equipment, it is advisable to keep a worker nearby and move cautiously, as the equipment can get stuck and you may lose it very quickly. There are also air vehicles, which every army has. In this case, there are absolutely no substitutes. Everything is in its proper place. In most cases, this is a pure aviation that can bypass any obstacles and inflict colossal damage on your enemy. At the same time, it is the fastest and unreachable for melee units. However, there are many units that specialize in neutralizing aviation. Now, we can briefly go over the demons, as there are not many units here. Medium demons are essentially represented only by Krutox, since the 1 minute long Deceiver's type doesn't matter because it is invulnerable, just like the Nightbringer. Also, the 30 seconds angels do not care what type of armor they have because they are also invulnerable. The Med Demon has correspondingly weaker protection than the High. High demons are mostly relic units. Squigot and Knarlock occupy the vehicle limit. The former does not have health regeneration, but can be repaired by workers. And of course, they are very armored, but the upgraded turrets easily penetrate them. And finally, the last type we would like to consider is buildings. Let's start with the high buildings. These are the main buildings of each faction, and also one of the two variants for tier 3 Tau. They are the hardest to break through and have the highest number of hit points. In med buildings, we see barracks, thermogenerators, armories, machinery buildings, and transitional buildings necessary for advancing to the next tier. They are decently protected, and the only thing I don't understand in this picture is what the hell a webway gate is going here. It should be one level lower and belong to the low category, but unfortunately it is what it is. Overall, this is a huge advantage because you can cover the entire map with such buildings, and they are hard to breach. And finally, the last type for today is low buildings: mines, turrets, generators, limits expansion buildings, and small devices created by heroes. Some of these buildings combine two characteristics, and of course it is logical that all of these are very easily destroyed. Honestly, I didn't think this topic would be so extensive and that so much could be said about it. I plan to add some more topics, but I don't want to make this video too long, so most likely there will be a small series of videos like there was how to play like a pro. The developers of this game surprised me with their decisions regarding unit replacements, characteristic modifications, limit replacements, and so on. It is quite an unconventional practice. I would say I don't remember anything like it in other games. It makes you get immersed in the mechanics and explore the game further. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Subscribe to my channel, like it, share it, and leave your comments. See you next time.